true manifestation happens when you love the villain, when you love the villain inside of everybody. And it's so weird. I've always been like this. Like when a man projects onto me, because it happens sometimes, it's so funny to me. I'm like, sometimes I get like a little bit like, what? And like, I'll have a cry, but overall, I just think it's adorable. I try to visualize like they're scary monsters as like these big fuzzy blue monsters. And then I sit down with them and have like a milkshake.
Hello, and welcome to Situaseans podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Williams, aka seanydoo. You can call me Sean, seanydoo. Does not matter to me. I'm just glad that y'all are here, and I have a very special guest here. This very special guest, who is she? Well, you know what? I want to jump right on in. So my very special guest is Asha. Asha T. She has a book. She's a coach. She's a teacher. She has so many different things about her that I am so excited to unpack on the show. So Asha, tell us all about you. Who are you? What do you do?
Oh my! Ooh, I love this. Thank you, Sean. I am so thrilled to be here. And hello to everybody in the audience. It is my honor to be here rattling on this microphone and hopefully educating you about some energetics in some Heartbreak hotel and how to have more fun in your life. That's what I'm all about. So my name is Asha T. I'm the CEO and founder of Beyond EQ International. It's emotional intelligence and beyond. I'm all about soul vibes and energetics. I'm a shaman. I do quantum light body activations, and I'm also a consultant, and I do course building. I also have a corporate business where I train leaders in emotional intelligence. I'm a roller skater, and I also love to dance. I work primarily right now with women who are dealing with heartbreak and desire to be more alluring and feminine in their nature. Ooh. When the women are sorted, that's when the big, strong men get made. And that's how energy works. So that's what I do. Polarity.
Wow. That's awesome. Like go all the way the fuck off. Okay. I love it.
I'm into it.
Love that.
I like it too. It's so fun.
Yes, indeed. And, I just want to say thank you for, coming onto the show, bringing your positive light, your positive aura. And, I cannot wait to unpack so many things with you and be able to leave our listeners with so much value. So, I just want to say to the listeners, thank you all for tuning into the podcast. So y'all know what this podcast is about: dating, relationships, mental and emotional life experiences. Who fucking we? So much goes on in life and we all go through stuff. And at the end of the day, it's all about, like what you do with those past experiences and how you live a positive life, how you positively affect those around you. And I just want to say also rate and review the podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that shit. Y'all know where to find us. So please hit that 5-star review. Okay. And then subscribe to the patreon.com/Situaseans podcast. All the stuff there, all the behind the scenes content, I guess some of the dating app screenshots and the receipts and stuff like that from the unhinged dates that I go on. Oh, Asha, if I could just tell you about some of the dates.
You have to.
Oh, yes. The dating world is quite unhinged. And I cannot wait to unpack that with you as well and all the screenshots and stuff.
Yes. I love that.
And so for the listeners, go ahead.
I was going to say, I saw that on some of your previous episodes about the dating apps and stuff. I'm really looking forward to you hitting those questions with me.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And the fact that you're such a subject matter expert in just life and as well as, dating and how we can be our best selves because you are deep in this, in your field. I just know that this is going to be such a great episode.
I know, me too.
And so for the audience today, we're going to be tackling how we can all heal from heartbreak, understanding and navigating, different relationship dynamics. We're going to learn about push and pull dynamics, in which I've never heard of, and I can't wait for you to explain that to us as well. And we got a listener submission about how some people use they say boundaries, but they're using boundaries, I guess, in a very loose term, using boundaries almost as if masking their insecurities as boundaries. And, a good example of that is via a celebrity screenshot that a listener submitted that we all kind of knew about that went viral a couple of years ago. So cannot wait to get to that. So, I cannot wait to jump right on in. So Asha, first and foremost, every time that I have a guest on this show, they the audience, they always want to know, well, what's the situation with the guests? Like, are they single, dating, in relationship, open relationship? Tell us all about you first and foremost. Where are you in your dating life?
Oh, okay. Juicy question. I love that. So, for all of you that don't know, I will just throw it out. I didn't mention this in my, I am the queen of regulating the crazy lady. And I was able to write a book called The Empath is the Narcissist. And so we'll dig into that a little bit tonight, Sean, right? So that we can talk about those push-pull dynamics. And so what I've learned in energy, and this is going to get to my relationship status, is really how much creational power a feminine woman has. In fact, the crazier she is, the more she actually regulates herself, the more magnetic she will become. So I always say, like, anytime like someone's like, oh, she's crazy and she's stalking me and like whatever, I'm like, send her my way. She's like the ideal client. And I like put her through my little like poofy washing machine of energetics and emotions, and she becomes really regulated, and that makes a very solid magnetic woman. So for my experience, I don't date. I magnetize. It does involve, of course, a little bit of action, and it involves a little bit of I put myself out there, but I'm very specific with the type of men that I attract, because I'm so deeply feminine with men that I attract really strong, very much godly men. It's amazing. And so every woman has this power, and men respond to that energy. So that's what I do. It's awesome.
Love that. Ooh.
So to be okay, so giving you the short version, I have been celibate for 2 years. So I don't have actual sex with people, because I'm very, very clean in my energy, really, really clean, and very serious about like the type of man that I desire. It's very much a God frequency I'm looking for in men. Well, I'm getting hot just thinking about it. And so as a result, I just sort of tutter around, and I always have a lot of men around, but I'm very choice with who I desire to choose, if you will, in the moment.
All right. That makes so much sense. Love that. Because at the end of the day, there are so many different, relationship dynamics. There are so many different, things about us that whatever works for you. Because some people do, I guess appreciate celibacy, and or some people do appreciate, okay, well, I'm going to kind of just do me until that next person comes into my life that fits, so we all have many.
I just want to put on the record, I am not about celibacy. I'm about, can I say the F word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about deep fucking. I love that. And I think everybody should be. Okay. Really magnetic relationship. I don't know what God's up to or whoever's up in the sky, but this is a waste of hotness. I'm ready to go. But I'm not ready, apparently. I'm not ready for it. I do not support the single agenda. I believe everybody should be stacking cheddar, having a ton of epic sex, partying, and having fun 90% of the time. And I just happen to be single in the moment, and it's stupid. I hate it. Okay, so Sean, I call the world an energetic buffet. And so you order what you want from the energetic buffet, and then you got to deal with the waiting period and the crazy waitress who drops the tray. And then you got to deal with somebody getting your check messed up, and the kid next to in the table next, all this chaos, but you're only waiting for your specific order from the energetic buffet. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm waiting for the order, but I'm not just waiting. I'm creating it. I'm in the kitchen trying to cook it to speed the shit up. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
All right.
You can order whatever you want.
Yes, I love that analogy. Oh my God, I'm going to have to use that now.
You have to. Yeah, I say to these ladies, these girls that follow me, they'd be like, she's like, oh, I don't cook. And I'm so ashamed. I should learn to cook. I said, babes, just order a masculine, energetic buffet chef and he'll come cook and you can be his sidekick. I like to cook personally. I went to culinary school, but some women don't. And some men love it. And my father loves to cook. My mother doesn't. And so I was like, just order the right man from the energetic buffet and wait and he'll come. And so it's really cute when you can use that analogy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And have whatever you want.
Yes. So tell us, like, where are you based? Like, what city? And then, like, kind of like, how long have you been in your city or town?
So once upon a time, I was living in New York, and then I had a breakup. This was when I was about 18. And when the man and I broke up, I'm now in my 40s. I'm 40. I'll be 42 in a couple of weeks. All right. I know everybody's like, she's so young looking.
Yeah. And so anyway, you have such young energy. So like, yeah, it does not make sense.
I know. Yeah, real like boppy. Okay. So anyway, what happened was I lived in New York for a long time. And then I broke up with this man and I moved to Australia. And I lived in Australia for about 11 years. And I met my husband, my first husband. And then we moved to Bali, Indonesia. And then in 2020, I got my really big wake up call, which was what gave me the insights to write my book, The Empath is the Narcissist. And I realized in that relationship, when we were in Indonesia, that I was actually the avoidant, which I find a lot with women. I know that men kind of get the narcissist label, but it's actually predominantly women. They're very avoidant. And what this looks like is like omitting sex or like marrying their job or like getting in a relationship with a man and then like keeping up with the Joneses. And so that was me. I was that woman. I was like this avoidant narcissistic, I had really low empathy. And then in 2020, the man from when I was 18 years old, we reached back out to each other, which is like very narcissistic behavior, like reaching out to like an ex. And he said, I can't believe you just reached out. I just let you go. And I was like, what? And he had been holding on to me for about 18 years. And when he let go, I actually felt it. And then I just shot up and everything crumbled, Sean. I like lost everything. And I lost my marriage. I got in a really bad car accident. I was assaulted, like everything that you could think of happened. And I moved back to America about 3 years ago. Like part of like my calling from God was to come back here. And so my son and I moved back here and we're just here now. And now we're going to move to California.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I'm glad that you're in a better place. Like your son is in a better place. Like, yeah, you all, it sounds like you all are doing just fine right now. Yeah, I'm so sorry that you went through all that. As a divorcee myself, I know, divorces are messy, but
well, that's the whole reason why I do my work is because most people get divorced because they were never potentially aligned to begin with. And then you get married trying to fill this hole inside yourself and you aren't ever able to do it. So after like 7 to 10 years, it just starts to fall apart. So my whole book is about trauma bonding and pushing and pulling. And how do you heal that so that you don't repeat that same pattern? So I'm sorry that you went through divorce as well, but I have a really crazy relationship with God or like the king or whatever, the source, whatever you call it in your practice, doesn't really matter. The energetic ball in the sky doesn't matter for anybody who's listening, but I have such a rock solid relationship with emotions. So it gives me a really good relationship with death and rupture. Because I'm like, oh, well, that was just meant to happen. Like I don't put like a lot of weight on the heaviness of life. I'm like, looks like we're just readjusting, like really high perspective. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like absolutely. You get that, right? Like you're like, wait, this feels like shit in the moment, but then later it makes sense.
Exactly. It just prepares you for whatever's next. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you like have to get the lessons. If you don't get the lesson, you're going to get that shit again.
Exactly. Yep. Just like one like cycle. Exactly. Yep.
When you realize like all we're doing is hanging out on this blue energy ball, like going up the energetic ladder.
Yeah.
That's how I do
Exactly.
it.
Just one roller coaster of just this energetic matter. Yep. Yep.
Like literally it. You like, and so this is how I like describe it. I'll be like, people like let's say Sean, you get like an upgrade and you're starting to go up this ladder, and then like your brother doesn't want you to grow, or like your mother, she's gonna be like, no, Sean, don't move to California, don't chase your dreams, even though she's like not living her dreams. So she's like trying to pull you down a rung on the ladder. And so
Right.
many people are like, oh shit, I should stay on this ladder rung, it's not safe up there. And then they like destroy their dreams based off of somebody else's fear.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Yep. You hit the nail on the head. And it's like, yeah, some of us have to get out of like that mindset and out of that negative, like repetitive energy. Yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So when you learn to like not be triggered by any of that stuff, like I say such outlandish stuff, people be like, you're not going to go start a pop band. And I'm just like, like I have no reaction to anybody's limits anymore. And I think that's real emotional mastery.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just sounds like you're so in tune with your emotions and what you want. And like that alone is just like phenomenal. And like, I can see why, like, yeah, like you attract so much masculine, like so many men, like so many masculine energy like that comes
Everywhere.
to you. Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah. Money too, because money is the same frequency as men, and believe it or not. And so have you heard that before, Sean?
No, this is my first time hearing that.
Yeah. I'll give you guys a nice tangible example because it's very sexy. So when a man penetrates a woman, he seeds her with life, with sperm in a baby is born. Well, we also, if you can think about a startup, when a startup is in seed phase, they're looking for external money to come and seed the startup. So you don't actually seed the business, you seed the person. So what happens is when men give me money or my clients give me money, because I'm divine and I'm always doing inward work, everything that they give me multiplies. So a good example is like I have clients that get like $1 million deals, or they lose like 15 pounds. They start like, I gave a guy an energy session a couple of weeks ago and he wrote a 300-page book the next day. It was insane. Yeah. So you might even like leave this and be like, ooh, like a little charge of energetics. And it's very, really powerful. And so, yeah, it's awesome. Like energy is the best. Yeah. And you know who knows this? Like billionaires, like Elon Musk has his own muse. She's called Grimes, and she's an artist. And Kanye West, he always has a muse.
Yeah.
And so like these beautiful women that are like light and energetic.
Absolutely. That's right. I forgot that Grimes was married to Elon Musk. They had a baby too. Yeah.
It's so random, right?
Right.
Do you know Grimes? You know Grimes?
Yeah. I've only heard like a couple of her songs, and like I've only known of her because of her relationship with Elon.
Yeah. Oh, so you were like, oh, she's dating Elon, and then you went and listened to a couple of her songs.
Exactly.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I think she's Australian, actually.
Wow.
Are you into music?
I am. I love music. I listen to everything.
Me too.
Yeah, I feel like the only genre that I'm like a little bit picky about is country. It's like it's just like a certain types of, but for the most part, I listen to everything.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, what's your like favorite hip hop? Like, if you had to go onto your like hip hop playlist, what would be on there right now? That's like you're dumping it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So like, for I guess for all the like the older millennials and I guess like the younger Gen Xers, I really love the old Pitbull back when he was rapping before he went pop and everything. I love the pop version of Pitbull, but the old Pitbull was something different. And then also, I definitely love Tupac, Biggie, all the classics. And then oddly enough, as far as like modern hip hop, Fetty Wap, like the Trap Clean. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello. Like all that stuff. I don't know why. I just love that. I don't know.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Sounds like you listen to a lot of different good things. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love hip hop. It's like probably my favorite genre.
Ah, okay. Do you have a favorite artist or a favorite song?
I like Mos Def and like Tribe. And Tribe Called Quest and J. Cole. And I listen to a lot of Outkast and I listen to a lot of like Jizza and the Wu-Tang.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm like, it's pretty savage. You should see me on the microphone. It's like, oh my God, is this little white girl from the Burbs, or is she from the straight up Compton? Where is she from? Because I listen to like everything, like Del the Funky Homo Sapien and the hieroglyphics and Tupac. I know like I'm into hip hop, like big time.
That's so cool. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And since like, you know what, like the next time you're in Chicago, or you know what, but well, I guess by the time like this episode comes out, cause we record in the time machine, but by the time this episode comes out, I think you probably will already be in LA. So if I'm out there by then, whatever, we'll have to go do karaoke or something.
Oh my God, I'm so into it. Cause I'm also into like really like amazing like 70s music, and then just everything like Tool, Rage Against the Machine. I'll listen to anything.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like we can literally do a whole episode and just talk about music. Like for sure. Cause like, yeah, there's just, yeah. Oh my God. There's so many great songs out there for sure.
So much good stuff. Yes. I love it.
So yeah. Cause so like, what are your thoughts about the dating scene, especially like, you know, just, I guess in general, but more specifically, like, you know, your side of town, like where you're at currently?
Yeah, so this is a really great question, and I'm so happy like you're bringing this forward. So my sort of, I say template, like the way that the woman that I am in this lifetime, I am in devotion to the masculine. So what does this even mean? So this means that I'm into more of like a submissive role with the masculine man if I'm in a contract with a man. So this could be in a relationship. I'm currently in a contract with a coach. It's platonic, but he is very much in charge in the relationship dynamic. And I find when I'm in that space as a woman, I am way more alluring, way more relaxed. I definitely have my fair share of shit come up, being in that level of submission to someone else's sight. And I also know from lived experience that when I don't listen to what he says, I end up taking the really long way, or I get it wrong, or something goes wrong. Like he's always right. And so that's how I live my life. Now, if you're a woman listening to this, is like, oh my God, Asha, how dare you? What is this, 1973? Like, no, or whatever, 53, 33, I don't know what year, whatever year that shit was going down. Yeah, actually, I'm going to just put it into perspective. I used to have plaguing anxiety, plaguing depression. I was 45 pounds heavier. And since I've begun living my life like this, I am creating upwards of $50,000 a month in my business.
Go all the way to fuck off.
Exactly. I have such a deep level of sexual energy and ease and flow. And again, it's like 80 to 90% of the time, I just feel safe to be myself, safe to be creative, and safe to be just like honored as a feminine woman, because a feminine woman gets her power from the way that she feels 80%, and then she gets 20% of her power from external stuff, where a masculine man gets 80% of his power from the way he serves and protects, and about 20% of the way that he feels. And he's going to feel that way based off of the woman. And so as a result of this, let's say for the example with my coach, he is getting more clients and he's getting way more powerfully aligned because he's helping me, and he's helping me grow I call him a king's man. He's like preparing me for my king. And so what I teach women and men, women in particular, is to access this energy inside where she can feel like really open to receiving a masculine man. So many women want this and they can't even figure out like where to begin, like, because there's so much pain against the masculine. So we are having a huge division right now. It's really hard for people to date, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that the feminine is responsible for 80% of this energy. I'm not saying men aren't responsible for what they do, but she can literally create the life of her dreams. That's all she has to do, is clean up her energy and really believe that she deserves it. Yeah, and then men respond to that. Men respond to that energy. They love it. They want to be around that.
No, yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. I think probably, and I guess because like the whole dating environment is just so, I guess, oversaturated because of everyone is like, well, I got options. I don't like that this person, I don't know, choose or what, like choose with their mouth open. So I'm going to go back to the dating app or whatever. Or, like this guy has this one red flag, whatever, and I can't get past this. So I'm gonna just go just go back out on a dating apps, and vice versa with guys too. We do it as well. Like this girl, she has blue eyes and I want a girl with, green eyes, so.
Yeah. There's no like easy way to say this. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a bunch of people coming at me in the comments, but like, the reality is that women, every time they close their heart to a man, they are like taking themselves further and further away from like the man of their dreams. So women, okay, how do you say this? Probably about 90% of America or 95% of America is like, oh, she triggered me or he triggered me, but they're not actually figuring out how to get to the root of the trigger. And so they just say that they're triggered and then they don't get to the root of it, therefore perpetuating that same trigger over and over again or pushing it away completely. And so if women did emotional intelligence work, like in actually invested in their self-worth with energetics, they don't have to, men will literally just become magnetized to them. Like, so here's a good example. Like women might be like, there's no good men. Well, women are so powerful. This is great. Women will be like, oh, I'm so intuitive. I'm following my intuition. Intuition is just what you tell yourself. That's what it is. That's really what it is. It's a connection to your body and what you believe to be true. And so if you're saying there's no good men and you're saying there's no good men, you're saying that over and over and over again, you're literally, just like any form of manifestation, going to create and perpetuate that same situation over and over again. So every single day, I'm like, men love me, men pay me money, God pays me money all day long. I literally say that all day long. Because that's the reality I'm choosing to live in. And the result is that's what ends up manifesting in my life. What happens is when we hold pain against men or women from our past, we'll keep bringing that pain with us to the next relationship, or we'll shut it out completely. And then we'll get in another relationship and that person we don't like either. And we can't figure out why.
Yeah.
And so, that's how this goes. It's so much of it is energy, 80 to 90% of it, energetics.
Absolutely. Like that makes so much sense. Yeah. I think,
right?
If we all just, got to like look within ourselves because it does come from both sides. And we got to just continue to put in the work on ourselves and really get to the root issues. Are there like any, are there like specific, like interesting dating stories or just like something like from your past that like really stood out that you want to share with the audience that's like, wow, like this experience like really did a number on me, like.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share something pretty vulnerable here and like, why not? Why start now? And so, all right, I'm going to be vulnerable, guys, get ready. Okay. So I dated this man. So I was married for 11 and a half years. And then I had my crazy wake up call with the guy that was attached to my soul for 18 years. So I was awake and awakened. And then for a very brief period, I dated a man and I knew it was out of alignment. I knew it. I just was like, oh, this isn't the guy for me, but I'm going to date him anyway. This is going to be really good. I hope people really get this. So what I did was I didn't listen to my inner soul, my inner compass. I like knew it wasn't the right person. And I still spun the dice and like went for it and dated this guy for a while. And it was savage, great sex, awesome dude. And then at the end of the relationship, when we broke up, I said, oh, like it was so sweet. He was so sweet. I got so crazy. I have such a strange perspective. I'm like, he was so sweet. He was a good man. And he was cheating on me.
Oh, no.
Yes. But this is the thing. This is where it gets good. I had like no emotional reaction. And the reason is because I didn't listen to my own integrity at the very beginning of the relationship. So even though 7 months passed and I found out that he was cheating, like I kind of knew that he wasn't the right guy anyway. And I still took the ride. And so what people do is they're like, they'll go, I knew it. I knew he wasn't a good person. Well, I actually kind of knew that it wasn't the right person 7 or 8 months ago, and I still went for it. And we do this all the time. People do it all the time. They're like, oh, she's good enough, or he's good enough. And then when like a year or two passes and they're like finding out some crazy shit, they're like, I knew they weren't good. I knew they weren't good. And then there's somebody to blame. And I just was like, oh, I'm not going to blame him. I'm just going to know that I didn't listen to my inner self and take radical responsibility for my own shit.
Well, I'm glad you got out of that situation, and you're like, okay, I'm on to like you're on the better thing. So yeah,
yeah, I still want the best for him.
Yeah.
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 I mean, obviously he did get a ride on the best, but we'll leave that part of the story out. You know what I'm saying?
That's for the what do you call it? The Situaseans After Dark paid subscription episode. Just kidding.
Please join us for Situaseans After Dark. I love it. No, and I'm pretty sure I'm still the villain in his story. I remember I was like, what do you mean? You were the one that was cheating on me. And he was like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." And I was like, okay, bye. Because I wasn't triggered. So because I like didn't care, it was like all backfiring in his own face, just like
right.
Cockies of shadow.
Right, exactly.
Shadow bukakis.
Yeah.
I was like, grab the popcorn, like, oh, okay, guess we're doing that now.
Exactly.
He wasn't the right guy anyway. Cause he wasn't the right guy because I've been sober for like 3.5 years, even though everybody always thinks I'm the drunk guy. And we went away to like New Hampshire one day and like took MDMA, and he like was letting me drink vodka and it was a mess. And I'm like, I'm not into this, because I would literally follow a man off a cliff. So I was like, I don't think this is healthy for me.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like I'm putting all my morals aside for this crazy like experience. No.
Yes. Yeah. I was just like, I just prefer to be along for the ride.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a book called The Empath is a Narcissist, and I'm sure your book like kind of recounts like all these different experiences that you've gone through, and kind of just I just kind of like want to know too, like what were some of like the previous life events, like I guess that led up to you like writing this book, because I'm sure it probably was like some of the stuff from the divorce, some of the stuff from prior, but yeah, I kind of want to know what came into fruition when you were like, okay, this is the time to write the book.
Thank you so much. That's such a great question. So yeah, definitely from my first marriage, when I realized that I didn't love myself after being sort of like the narcissist in the relationship, I realized it was because I didn't love myself. Like I couldn't even receive love from my husband. Like even I remember toward the end, Sean, like I was starting to do the emotional intelligence work. And so I was growing, and we were really in a disorganized attachment style, like a lot of looping, a lot of fighting. I know you know what I'm talking about. It's like you fix it and then you get addicted to the dopamine hit of the fight, believe it or not. That's why so many people stay in these trauma bonds, is they're equally addicted to the love, the hit of love, as they are to the hit of chaos. And so the whole point of life is to move the chaos and the shadow into the light. And the only way to do that is through you. So when I realized that my heart was closed and I couldn't love my husband, and when it finally opened, he physically couldn't even be around me because he was so used to being codependent on my avoidance that when I turned around and showed him love, he became the avoidant and he couldn't even be around it. So it's interesting with the narcissistic empath or the narcissist in the codependent dynamic is that people villainize the narcissist, but the truth is, and people don't like this truth because the victim hurts. Yeah. And it can be deadly. If you're hooked in enough to somebody who has narcissistic tendencies, you can debilitate your entire life. A collapse from a narcissist is one of the hardest things to overcome. And I've gone through that as well. I wrote my whole course is around the collapse and repairing the heart space from that. But what happened was I realized that the codependent and the narcissist are equally playing a role Because if the narcissist turns around and looks at the codependent won't want that person because the codependent's used to chasing love. So let's say, Sean, you were the codependent in your first marriage and your wife was avoidant, which is very common. Men are providers. They find a woman and they want to provide for her. And then it can jade a man for a very long time if he has his heart broken by that woman. And I'm here to let you know that you can heal from it. Men can find that love for what that woman provided. But if you can picture it, like, let's say that's the case with you. I'm sorry if that's too personal. Is that okay to?
Oh, absolutely. Pretend? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and do it.
We're pretending. Okay. So you're a little boy, like the little boy version of Sean is trying to chase love from his mother. And it may not be your exact mother, but it could be your grandmother or her great grandmother or the grandmother or your father's grandmother's mother. It goes back thousands of years. Like it's 20, according to epigenetics, it's about 20 generations. But you're a little boy chasing that woman and you're chasing her down the street. And then when she turns around to show you love, you can actually get scared and run away. But what happens is maybe you're chasing her and chasing her and chasing her. And then she goes out of the way and she's like, I'm out of here forever. And now you're a lost little boy and you're like, how the hell am I going to fix everything's fucked emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, everything is hurting. And that's what heartbreak is. When you really understand that all we're doing is trying to heal these little kid wounds inside of ourselves, you understand the role that we each play, and it softens the villain in that woman, it softens the villain in the man, it softens the villain that I was, and you start to like love that villain for providing you an experience so that you can find more love within yourself because you're worthy of so much love. We just get caught up in looking for that in other people.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. And even like in my previous divorce, like my then fiance, right before we got married, she had cheated on me with somebody who slid into her DMs. And so a month before the wedding, she told me this. And yeah, I was like, well, we've known each other for so long. Maybe I can learn to like get past it and forgive and forget whatever. First year of the marriage, I just couldn't. Second year, I was like, I gotta ask for a divorce. But then so I definitely understand exactly like everything that you're saying because it makes so much sense because we do try to protect that inner child and like protect like that love or whatever it was that our inner child never had when we were kids. We were trying to like make up for it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so that was your first marriage and within a year, you just couldn't do it.
Yeah. So year 2, I left. Yeah. I was like 24 when I got married.
Can I tell you something that as a man, I actually think you really did do the right thing on so many dimensions because your masculinity, when a woman pushes and she tests, the feminine tests the masculine. The entire time she's trying to manipulate him into knocking over. That's what she's doing. And so it's part of her role. It's kind of fun when you look at it in that dynamic. You're like, this chick's trying to knock me over. She's either going to go crazy or she is going to resonate away. So the last man that came into my life was so powerful. Ooh wee, daddy. Couldn't be knocked over if I tried. I was trying everything, Sean. I told you I'm the queen of the crazy ladies. So it was like manipulation. I could not do it. It was his boundaries are so strong. It's actually a turn on because I just am like, I can't manipulate him. No. And so I just kind of started focusing on myself more because I was like, oh my God, this guy is so powerful. It's very much a turn on for women when they reach a certain level of femininity. But like as a man, what will happen is that woman is like ticking her little ticker. Tick, tick. She's like, oh, manipulation. So your soul chose, in my opinion, in my professional opinion, your soul chose the right thing because people don't get this. Momentum builds. So if you're in a contract with a person, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, what started as this tiny little thing where you forgave her for cheating can, if you guys are not getting to the root, if you are not doing the holy shit, the depth of the work, that can fester into her like having like a disrespect for you because she was able to manipulate you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
Does that make sense?
It does.
So well done on your soul, Sean. Go, Sean Soul. Yay!
Go all the way the fuck off, Sean Soul.
Go all the way the fuck off, Sean Soul. I love it.
So,
bye, Sally. Bye.
Right? Bye.
Take that eggplant DM emoji and go. I should give her that other guy's number. That guy I just broke up with.
Right, there you go. Right, they'd be the perfect match.
Yeah. He did have a wicked sexy voice. They call him Tone Loc. His voice. So yeah. Nice. There she goes. Shit, right up her alley.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. I love your energy. Like, you are bringing so much energy to this episode. So I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. I love you. I love you, Sean.
Love you too, Asha.
I love you, bestie. This is so fun.
Yes.
We're best friends now. And we're moving next door to each other.
Right, exactly.
I told you, I'm the queen of the crazy ladies. I'm going to move right next door and be like, hey, Sean, I baked you a cake. You're like, oh, no. Sure. Come on in, Asha T. Funny little mermaid.
Yes, all the good vibes. We love it over here. We love it.
It's good. It's really good.
Trying to improve your skincare game? Guess what? I got a little something for you. You can improve the health of your skincare with the Vogue approved. Yes, you heard that right. Vogue as in Vogue magazines, the models. Yes, that Vogue. The Vogue approved beauty product, Herbal Face Food, the most potent anti-aging, multi-correction skincare product on the market. Yes. So hit that link in the show notes or video description and use our code SPHFF to get 20% off at checkout. Visit herbalfacefood.com to get started. That's herbalfacefood.com. All right. And use code S as in Sam, P as in pineapple, H as in Henry, F as in Frank, F as in Frank to get 20% off at checkout. That's SPHFF to get 20% off. All right. herbalfacefood.com. Okay. Y'all got the hookup. So let them know that Situaseans podcast sent you. All right. So even then, like you had mentioned too, that, you're a CEO, first and foremost, go all the way to fuck off. We love that. We love that. We love that. And so even being like the CEO and founder of Beyond EQ, can you kind of tell the audience more about what the brand is? And
yes.
Yeah, 'cause I'm so interested. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I love that you're asking these questions. So I have one program that I run with people. Like, it's awesome. I've got about 38 clients. It's a community, and it's men and women, and we all do a 10-week program together. But the people who are in it are like high achievers, artists, doctors, lawyers, musicians, coaches, like people who are like, it's a combination of entrepreneurs, people in the performance industry, and then also a lot of professionals. And so me as a CEO, I went to school for hospitality, and also I've been an international consultant. I've lived across the world. And I've been doing course creation and tech startup for many years, but I've also opened about 14 or 15 restaurants. So the last 9 months or so, I've been working with a consultant, and we have a joke because he's like, I'm going to turn you into MJ. I'm like, Michael Jackson? He's like, no, Michael Jordan. And he's basically, yeah, it's so funny. I'm like, oh, Michael Jackson, I got to get the gloves. He's like, relax. Okay, get the shoes. It's Michael Jordan. And so he's really turning me into just like a really excellent business leader of business. So the goal with Beyond EQ is to get it into a global brand, into every industry, because right now, without the energetics piece, the work is not deep enough. And I know this because we wouldn't have so many problems if emotional intelligence was enough. It has to be deeper. It has to get to the root. And I do that with energy work. So my energy work's not like hairy armpits and a crystal ball. It's like leather Ferrari of energy healing. Like I love having fun in all the flavors and like, just bringing people back to themselves. And of course there's like a lot of emotions and movement, but the goal is to really align people to have a shitload of wealth and fun and sex and all of these amazing things. So the brand Beyond EQ it means so much to me. It's like, I truly believe, like, I just get so emotional because I actually truly believe like I can help so many people get unplugged. Like there will be no such thing as toxic work environments if I keep going. And so every day I pray and every day I show up and I serve and I watch people repair their relationships. They lose weight. They let go of pain they've had for 15, 20, 30 years, all through this work. And so we're just sort of starting, I'm in year 3 and I had to go through a lot. I lost the whole business. I went homeless as well. I forgot to tell you I went homeless.
Oh, no.
And yeah, so much has happened in the last, I've undergone about 20 years worth of trauma in about 2 years. And I lost one man that really believed in me. He was on his way to go get me $500,000 and he died. So I've gone through so much trauma. But I can't stop. Like, I can't stop. It feels like God's like holding me up by the shoulders, or I call him the king in my practice. And it's like, it just feels like I have so much purpose. I know so many people can relate to that. Like, and you should relate to that. That's all you have. Every single person has so much power. I truly just think that that's the most beautiful thing. But we get stuck in these relationships and we get stuck in these jobs and like your whole life can pass you by. So Beyond EQ is designed to unplug everybody from the matrix in job and relating. And then we all get to party, have sex, and be rich.
Love that. I love the mission and I love the goal. And I even love that little tidbit at the end. Yes, because we all want that for sure.
That's all we want. Like, it's fine. I don't know why everybody's acting like we don't want that. Like, everybody wants that. I am so against the single broke agenda. It's like, enough of that.
Exactly.
And when you have purpose, it will come to you because you're following your soul and you're creating it from the depths of your soul. You know that, right? Like, you're taking a big risk too.
Oh yeah. So definitely, taking moving my entire life to California. Yeah. It's so much going on. And, I just think that, at the end of the day, as long as, we're all just looking within ourselves and just keep on moving forward, I feel like, we're all going to be fine. Right.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, there was a shift for me. Like, I can be real truthful because I see a lot of dark stuff. I work with a lot of high achievers. A lot of them are, but it's funny because what I notice is people are like, oh, Hollywood, everybody's eating babies and all these things. When in the reality is they at home, have no purpose. They're scrolling on reels. They're not exploring love. They're not exploring why they're here. And then they have the audacity to kind of name and shame wealthy people. And that's not the way I operate. I'm like, if you want change, you got to make that change. You have to get in the game because those wars and those bigger things that are happening in the planet, those start at home. That's micro decisions that you make as an individual. They compound. And then we have massive escalations because if every man was protecting women, there would be no war.
Yeah.
If if there was harmony and there was heaven on earth, and heaven on earth has to start inside of how much you love yourself enough to follow your soul.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's so important to kind of, like you just said, we gotta remind ourselves the importance of self-love because too many people out there don't have it. And that's kind of what leads to the turmoil that we see today.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
And so, okay, go ahead.
One of the biggest forms of self-love is really really repairing those relationships with people that did you wrong. I know that they hurt. Trust me, I've gone through a lot of that. We all have. Nobody's getting a free ride on this circus. But like,
Yeah.
we're all dealing with shit, especially this lifetime. I don't know what we were doing in other lifetimes, but this one, we're clearing all of it and like clearing all that trauma. And the truth is that like, if you really don't make peace with that, like you don't have to, not everybody needs to get access to your energy, but you got to release the emotion, the energy in motion, the emotion attached to that person that's negative, because you'll take that negative emotion with you everywhere you go.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And even just like what you do as a keynote speaker, and even like a teacher of like in the energy master, like you're like a teacher and an energy master. So tell me more about that as well, because I just want to know what goes into being an energy master.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I love your questions.
Oh, thank you.
So I study energetics like like a lot. So how does this look? I do hours and hours of research on other ways that people are teaching polarity, masculine and feminine dynamics, relating. And then I also take that same energy into leadership development and how leaders are being trained. So I kind of break it up into like business and love, because that's what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence is relating, and it's love and it's empathy. But emotional intelligence is also commitment to truth, power, and integrity. People don't often associate emotional intelligence with that, but it's actually equally empathetic and soft as it is stoic, detached, and powerful. And so we have to make a right relationship with our power. People don't stop their growth because they're afraid of failing. They stop because they're afraid of success. They're afraid of being that powerful. And so to answer your question, to become an energetic master, 90% of it is my own inward work. I do so much inward journeying. Like I have a hypnotherapist, I have an energetic healer. I do all energy work on myself, and I'm constantly teaching emotional intelligence. So I teach 26 areas of each EQ, and I rewrote attachment theory, energetic attachment theory, and now I'm developing a book on core wounds and the understanding of core woundology, because I keep unlocking more and more core wounds, like ones that we don't even know exist yet, because I'm going so deep. And so when you do that, like the cool thing is about consciousness is you get that aha moment and you're like, oh shit, like, oh my God, wait, was I that guy? And then you like might push it away. I'm like, oh wait, was I that lady? Feel the shame, because I don't have a bad relationship with emotions. So I like I like burn in the hell of death of what I thought I knew. And so that is how you become an energetic master. You have to seriously make a rock solid relationship with your emotions and like let yourself feel them. You don't get stuck there though, but you really do have to feel them. And I look at everything. I try to look as much as I can at all of my behaviors. I'll literally just get to the point with like the king and be like the divine and be like, just show me anything that I'm missing. Show me anything that I need to see to align myself higher to you, higher to my purpose, higher to why I'm here, and how, most importantly, Sean, the more love I can emanate, the more people I can reach, the more people I can relate to, and the more people I can help faster. Because if I can help more people without having to deal with what I went through with the trauma and what I went through with my divorce, if I can help other people, I'm not saving anybody, but if I can help them not have to go through what I went through, like that is to me the point of life.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're leading with love, like in your personal life and even like in your career and everything that you do. So that's so admirable.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I can also be a really feisty bitch. Yeah. I can penetrate a real hardcore truth.
Yes. It's good to have a balance, right? Exactly. You gotta have a balance.
No. And people get shook. They get shook because they're like, wait a minute, you're so like, because I'm not saying it meanly. I'm saying it with like a big open heart, but I'll be like, oh, the reason why there's so many weak men in America is because women are busy saving the ocean with Greta instead of self-squirting with Asha T. And women are like, I'm like, the last thing America needs, women in gray suits. And they're like, what? I thought you helped corporate ladies. And I'm like, I do. Yeah, no, I can be real righteous, like real, just like cunty little, like, think. Yeah, but, it's horrible.
But you give people the push that they need. So I feel like that, that's important. Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, I say I have a really good relationship with the dark mother. So it's like the dark mother can be like this narcissistic mother that was like, she was, fair weather mother. She'd like give you attention when you were out, or she would like so disconnected at home. Well, and pushy, because she never followed her own dreams. Well, I've got like, I am following my dreams and I'm going to push you a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you're not stopping. Like my clients are like, thank you for the push. I'm like, yep, we're going. Yeah. They're like, I'm tired. I'm like, take a nap.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. We need it. If we didn't have that, everybody's just rocking around in sweatpants and Crocs. This place has turned into a shithole. We gotta fix it, Sean. We got a job to do.
Yes. Right. Woo! Yeah. We gotta keep these listeners on their feet out here. Wake the fuck up. No, just
Exactly. Every other guy's like looking down at his gray sweatpants, like, oh my God. Did I throw these away or do I keep them so this lady stays away from me?
Right. If anything, you'll probably be getting some DMs. Hey, so I want to work with you as well.
Hey, Asha.
Right?
Check out these Crocs.
That, or it's like, oh, like, yeah, like I hope you sell Crocs and sweatpants on your merch site.
I have to. I've got to. It is like the biggest joke with my audience. Like we are constantly laughing. I'm like, what are you just walking around in Crocs and sweatpants? Because like the thing about the sweatpants thing, like everything, it starts on the runway. It's hot. Everybody wants it. And then it makes its way to like the discount rack at TJ Maxx. And I live in the suburbs. Like people are wearing this shit like 8 days in a row. There's white unidentifiable stains. Like, come on. No, these sweatpants were not designed for a 48-year-old man who probably hasn't gotten laid in 6 months.
Exactly.
No. Yes, you look good, Sean. You got a nice outfit on.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is old. I've had this shirt. So for those of you that are listening of your audio only, I'm like wearing like a blue shirt with like spots and stuff like that on. And then for those of you that are watching the video portion, yeah, I've had this for about a good 10 years now. But yeah, thank you.
Oh, it looks so handsome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's more of like not blue spots. I would say it's more of like a hint of like, if you were to take a toothbrush and put it in blue paint and then just whisk it on top of the sweatshirt.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like you're flicking it. Yeah, it looks pretty.
Thank you. And so, also, too, like what I really appreciate too about like your work and everything. So your work is focused on the science behind emotional intelligence. So first and foremost,
Yes.
like love that, and then also, so it's energetics, trauma, semantics, and what is it? Higher consciousness for detachment. So I kind of want to know, like, can you educate us on like how we can kind of use these tools and even like those past like life experiences to kind of help us do like the various, I guess, obstacles that we all go through in life?
Oh my gosh, totally. I love that question. So yeah, so my first recommendation is always you have to make an amazing relationship with the emotion. Like you have to trust your body. And the cool thing is, and so many people just don't know this, is that we have an energy field around us. And people might be like, no, science, rah, rah, rah. No, like this is very scientific. The unfortunate thing with energy is because you can't see it, people automatically think it's woo-woo when it's not. The tangible results of energy are divorce or more love, their success, or it's poverty. This is momentum. You're always building momentum. In fact, Einstein talks about compounding interest as sort of like the sixth wonder of the world or the fifth wonder of the world, where they don't really know what compounding interest is. They just know that it works. And compounding interest, you just don't turn around and become 300 pounds. You turn around and go, holy shit, why am I 300 pounds? And why is my wife walking out? Like, you worked for that in your micro choices every day. So the science behind this falls under a universal law of compounding momentum and also the law of magnetism and the law of reflection. So what you can really do is you can start to understand that like your body and emotion is not just an annoying thing.
Right.
It like when you're having a heavy emotion, it is your body is connected to like your body is like it's almost like a glitch in your system. So what causes like these little triggers and these little emotions? Two things. Number one, an outside person. So let's say you and I, Sean, we're dating, we're living the best life ever. And then all of a sudden you're like, fuck you, I'm out of here. I might have like a really big heartbreak and feel all of this abandonment and feel all of this rejection and all of this shame and like yearning for you, like you're missing. Of course, we're humans. We have connection. You and I have had an awesome relationship. Now you're breaking up with me. What the fuck? And so I'm crying and I'm like so upset. And I'm going to go through all these rejection emotions. You got to get used to the cycle and the understanding that that might not just clear in one go. And people want it. They want the pain to stop. They like, get this pain out of here, because the human is always looking for comfort ever since we're born. We come out of the womb and we instantly start to cry because we're like, where's the warm, gooey stuff? Like,
right.
why am I uncomfortable? And so the whole quest of life is to get back to comfort. And we're looking out there for comfort all the time. So when we have emotions, we can be like, this doesn't feel good. Let me just quickly get in bed with somebody else or get into another relationship. What I'm suggesting is that you really feel it deeply and know that you're supposed to have those emotions. So that's the one way, which is the outside person, you. The second thing that can cause us to have a trigger is an internal memory. And this is like, that can be set off by a person outside of us, or it can be set off by a memory. So let's say you and I had this crazy relationship. All we did was fight. The next relationship you get in might be with this woman named Molly, and she's sweet as pie. And you do the same. Let's say you start dancing around in the kitchen, and every time you danced when you and I were together, I'd be like, Sean, get a life. You look like such a lame guy, like dancing. And then you get in this relationship with Molly and you start dancing, and Molly's like, yay. You might actually be like, oh my God, like you can have a shock of PTSD.
Right.
And so you have to trust that your body needs to clear that fear, because at one point you didn't feel safe to be yourself. So those are some ways that you can begin implementing this work, is to really, really understand that every single one of us has emotions and core wounds, and that like the best thing you can do is feel the emotion. Now, this is what I was going to suggest. Go see an energy healer. I'm not like Kathy the Reiki lady. Come take my program. It's going to be revolutionary for you. The energy work is insane. But if you can't do that and you do have it available for you to go see a shaman or go see Reiki healer, it is truly life-changing. It is weaponry against humanity that it's not in every medical industry, in every medical facility. It is 80% of who we are is energy. You can't deny that. It's just who we are. Wow. Everybody knows it. You can feel a vibe.
Right.
Yeah. So get energy work done and make a really, really amazing relationship with emotions. You're going to get onto a really good start with that.
Wow. I love that. And like I just heard about Reiki maybe like within like this year, and like maybe about 2 or 3 episodes ago. Again, we're in a time machine, y'all. So like, don't go like, but anyway, so, a guest from a couple episodes ago was talking about Reiki, and I'm like, oh my good, like, cause she does that as well. I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to get into this. So now that I'm hearing more about this, I'm going to like, definitely, have to, stop in for a session and look into a Reiki healer. Cause it's so intriguing. Yeah.
I might even suggest too, Sean, like checking out a shaman Shaman. I'm a shamanic practitioner. I studied in South America, like South American Peruvian shamans.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's a little more indigenous to the United States because it's in the indigenous of like, and you can find like African shamans, and you can find really cool sort of like, if you're into like indigenous primal and tribal, I'm a little more like that. Reiki is amazing. There's a lot of Asian and Southeast Asian influence in Reiki. And so for me, Reiki is beautiful. It just has a lighter varietal, where for me, I personally like darker, more indigenous vibes when it comes to my energetics. But to be fair, I do both. So,
Yeah.
and I also do quantum light body, which is a really cool modality of like using light from the sky and like crystallizing your body. So I do a lot of work with people with overactive thyroids, or people who can't get pregnant, or people that have cancer. And I work on their energy fields and help them. And I've gotten like 3 people pregnant, and I've helped 2 women with overactive thyroids. And one of my clients has Hashimoto's, and they're like going away. And in those autoimmune diseases, they right now medically, they don't go away. You can only treat them with medicine. And these women are having like revolutionary results because the energetics are so clean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
I know, it's amazing. Like, you got to get into it. You're going to love it. Like, in all honesty, Sean, like if you ever like if you do like a thing with a shaman, let's say you find like an African shaman, or like, where is your family from?
Yeah, so we're all we're from like Chicago, but a lot of us kind of started down south in like Arkansas, Louisiana. So we're like French Creoles. So so I guess lineage wise, we're Haitian and Native American.
Haitian, yeah.
Yeah.
You could look into like Haitian energetics and just kind of tap a little deeper into your lineage. Ooh, I just got a wicked bad shiver. So it's like a good sign, because that means that probably there's a little something for you to explore there and like open up, because it doesn't just heal you, Sean. It'll heal your mother's side and your father's side, and like all your brothers and sisters, because it's the lineage, right? So you're going to be able to explore like energy is so cool. DNA doesn't stop. DNA is just coding that goes over and over and over again. So when you heal your codes, everything around you begins to feel that osmosis. Everything shifts.
Yeah.
My son is so much more masculine and conscious due to the amount of feminine energy work and embodiment work that I do. And so when you explore that, let's say you explore that, if there's an opportunity for you to even like take a class, Sean, where you can take like an 8-week program on how to do energy work as like a Haitian, like indigenous shaman, like do it. Like it will change your entire life, because then you'll be able to do it and you'll be embodying it. It's really, really cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's where all the divine feminine live, up in the energy realms.
Love it. Wow. Look at that. like it's all starting to make sense. It really is. It really is.
Cool. I love that for you. I can't wait. Oh my God. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so good.
So, even kind of like with the things that kind of go on in our individual lives and as far as like just those certain energies, like, even among ourselves and us among our partners, why do we find so many, we find so many of us like trauma bonding, kind of like, as you said earlier, we find ourselves doing that and or ending up with partners that are kind of like remnants of a previous partners or remnants of a parent. Why the fuck do we do that?
I know, it's so nuts. It's so nuts. So the whole quest of this life is, let's go back to that DNA. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So DNA doesn't matter what your sexual preference is, doesn't matter how you identify. There's only 2 things in DNA. One is masculine, one is feminine. One strand is coming from the mother, one strand is coming from the father. And so this goes on for literally up to 20 years. So if your mother hated men, and let's say your grandmother hated men, and then your mother sits in that energy, she is going to hate men. And then you're going to be raised by a mother who subconsciously hates men, right? And then you're going to go and attract a woman that reminds you of your mother who hates men. So then you're going to end up divorced, and your mother, she hated men, but she stayed in the marriage with your father. She you're going to be the first one in your family that divorces. So you're actually being called to break the chain. Now, what happens is a lot of people get stuck. They go, oh, well, fuck that. She just hates men. Now I'm going to be with a submissive woman that doesn't have any, gumption, and hide from the fact that I actually have been called to sort of clear this wound. And so we are always replicating the energy of the mother and the father. And because it doesn't have anything that it does have to do with your parents, but it's so much more than that. People have a hard time understanding that. They can be like, well, I grew up in a really great family. Sure, my father worked a lot and I'm really sensitive, but like I'm clearing trauma on behalf of like my great grandparents. And so it depends on how deep you want to go. But that's why we do it. We're like replicating it and we're like following that around instead of following our soul, because it's like every time we have a piece of trauma, our soul, like if you can visualize your soul as like a round tube in the center of your body that's like shining really bright, like a big white tube. Every time you have trauma, a little piece of the tube falls off and it gets dark. And so you're like, now you've got like a cottage cheese, or not cottage cheese, Swiss cheese looking tube that's instead of this big glowing shining white tube, you've got all these little trauma aspects. So with this work, what we do is I put the light back in you and make you look at the darkness. Like, look at it. And like, you'll be like, I'm crying, everything's coming up. And I'm over here like, yes, get it out, Sean. I'm a little bit of like a masochist like that because I know what that means. But we do it because we're constantly looking for validation. So if I'm codependent on a man, I am afraid of my own power. I'm saying that man has more power than me. So under that logic and under that knowing, this is going to trigger some people. There is no such thing as betrayal. There's no such thing as manipulation. And how can we put this in a tangible example? If you and I met on, let's say you and I met on Tinder, if you didn't like me and I tried to ghost you, you would just be like, oh yeah, like no big deal. Like, who cares? I don't even like her. Or if I like tried to breadcrumb you, it wouldn't work because you're like, I don't care. I'm like not attracted to her. If you feel that I have more power than you, or if I have more love than you and you like want that love, I can breadcrumb you, I can betray you, and I can manipulate you. So those things, manipulation, betrayal, and breadcrumbing and gaslighting are actually only symptoms of a bigger, richer root problem, which is that you don't love yourself enough. You're looking for that person to give you that validation. And when they don't, it hurts. And you can get stuck in those relationships. So that's what I teach my clients, to vibrate on such a high frequency, like all the way up on the ladder, that they cannot be manipulated and they can't be breadcrumbed. Doesn't mean that they won't have hurt emotions, but you understand when people leave. You don't care so much if people leave because you honor that person's truth just as much as you honor like your own truth. Even if they leave slamming the door, they still actually have a right to do that. Even if it hurts you, they still are within their own right to act that way because they're only operating in a way that they can see. If somebody's conscious, they don't act like that.
Right.
We just have a lot of unconscious people. And so, yeah, but even so, let's say like you and I have a really conscious relationship and I don't like, in the end, I decide I want to leave. No matter how kind I am, I can still become the villain in your story because it hurts. And so like, even if I'm really, really nice about it, you can still be like, fuck her. Asha totally took me for a ride, but I was just honoring my truth, but you still got your feelings hurt. So there's a lot to unpack there, but it's the real truth of it. And you really want to get to a point where you just respect your truth enough and the truth of other people, even if it hurts you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's emotional mastery.
Wow. Love that. Yeah, that's really impactful. And like, I just love how you put that. I like that because it makes so much sense. So Yeah, I really do hope that the listeners, if you are going through something and you are finding yourself in, I guess repetitive type of relationships, I hope that you are taking this into consideration in Asha's words and really trying to find, that path to get back on the I guess the trail of your self-love first and foremost and getting out of that repetitive cycle. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice of you to say to your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like loop, right? Those loops are real. They're going to keep coming. And then sometimes we try to avoid them completely. And you can die in that energy. You can die in like avoiding yourself. Of course, that's an option. Or you can say, you know what? I'm not afraid of emotions and I'm going to go for this because whatever's in your soul, Sean, like the universe doesn't give us soul desires and soul dreams to burn us out and tell us that we can't do them. It's not like this is some crazy place of like, nah, I gave you that soul desire. Now you're not going to get it. It's like actually the universe is like, come on, I gave you those desires. Let's go. Let's make it happen. And with my work, we get there in a 20th of the time because I'm clearing your energy the whole time. So like on the way to go do your soul's dreams, let's say, for example, with yourself, where you're going to LA, you may run into 15 to 20 things that are going to tell you that you can't do it. My work, instead of 15 to 23 things, you'd run into 3 things that tell you can't do it. And then I'm right there saying, you can fucking go. Like, who cares? Great, big deal. But like, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's almost like gaslighting, but I'm also like, cry out the emotion. Or not gaslighting, like spiritual bypassing. I'm like, don't worry about it, but also cry. Make sure you get it out, but also we're going. And so it's that's what I do instead of like, because it can take you your entire life to align to your dreams. With energetics in this work, it cuts the time. It's quantum. We go much faster because we go deep.
All right. Love it. Love it. And
yeah.
And speaking of which, like even on top of that, like kind of going even deeper, like the push and pull dynamic, I know we kind of touched on that a little bit. What is that? Tell us all about that.
Yes. So this is really good. So this is the empath narcissist dynamic, the unhealed empath and the narcissist is, again, it's like if we were to get into this relationship and I'm avoidant and then you're codependent and then you start going like, wait a minute, like Asha's like kicking ass and everything. And I'm like just following her around. I'm going to start working on myself. You can start working on yourself and then I can come back in and like try to gaslight you again and manipulate you. And then you fall back into your pattern and then you pull out and then you push again and you pull and you push again. And so a good example is this. I have clients, a lot of women that will attract this amazing man and they're like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden they'll open their heart to this man and the man will ghost. Now, choice point, become a bitter old cat lady or work with Asha T and let's figure out why that happened. And really it's about going deeper into that. And then what I'll do with these women is I'll give them energy work and we'll get to like a core wound, like a wounding they might have against their father or a wounding they have against their mother. It doesn't really matter. Like a memory will come up and then all of a sudden the man will come back and then they're like, oh, he's back. And then and so this is like the pushing and pulling. And so what we do, and it happens with the men clients that I have, they're like, oh my God, she's back. She called me. What the fuck? And I'm like, yeah. So we're pushing and pulling energy. So much can be healed in the energetic realms. And so when I work in people's energy fields, people come back. And so I watch this all the time. And like men will be like magnetized to these women, whereas before they were very shut out. And so then sometimes they'll like come in and then they'll go again and the girl will be like, it's not working. And I'm like, we just relax. Just like, you need to not control this man. Just let him, he's trying to figure it out. He's over there in the cave trying to sort out what you're doing. And she's like, and all we need to do is use him as a tool for what emotions you feel when he does come back, because you want to get to a point where he is able to like come in and come out and she's like not that affected. And so what we do until that happens is we push and we pull. We're actually like ricocheting and repelling what it is that we want. Another good example is like if someone wins the lottery and they get like $1 million, if they're if they don't believe they're worthy of having $1 million, they will literally spend every last dollar of that very quickly because they're repelling it and they're pushing the very thing that the universe wants to give them. So like, let's say you had this amazing, beautiful woman come into your life, Sean, and then she like couldn't stick around or she didn't stay, or like this woman who's listening, that same situation with a man. The universe doesn't give you that as like, again, it's not like a tease. It's not like, ha ha, I'm going to torture you. It's like, hey, look at what you actually, you can receive this. You can receive this love. And then your goal is to become that love energetically. And then you can hold it more. And that really comes down to your worth and your love. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's like constantly we're always pushing and pulling. We're resonating and we're not resonating. We're repelling and we're not repelling. Like you even have to make a relationship with like people who leave your life. Like I have people block me a lot, or they like get mad toward me, and I don't have emotional reaction to that. So they like, even like fans and stuff will be like mad that I spit out a truth, and I don't care. Not that I don't care. I love them. They can always work with me, but it doesn't trigger me. And so, or if it were to trigger me, I deal with that. I don't ever let anybody know about that, and try to come clean with my energy. And that right there is, ooh, what's pushing on me? Like why is that pushing on me? And how can I like gently alchemize that so that it like becomes a really neutral thing in my body?
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a big answer.
Yeah. It is. No. And it's so true though. It makes so much. And I just love these real world examples that you are using, because this helps illustrate how people can, take these different examples and really do the work and be able to kind of, I guess, implement this in their own lives. So I appreciate you providing those examples.
Yeah. Oh, that's my pleasure.
Yeah.
I have one other really good one. When it comes to people's worthiness of like what they can receive in love and money, don't forget, like, don't worry about money. It's like, don't have a bad relationship with money. You're doing shadow work with your money and you're doing shadow work with your relationships. It's like the same. And rich people know this. They don't have emotional attachments to money. They just are happy to love it and happy to make it and spend it, because money is an energy. So is love. Purpose and purpose, and money is a result of that. And so when we think about our worth, we are only able to, like, here's a good example. Like, let's say your wife works for the man, right? Your wife works at a company. She could very well be undervaluing herself at the company, burning out, working a shitload of hours. And then she comes home and she is like burnt out. She can't do anything in the house. And she just feels depleted because she's actually undervaluing herself over here. And the reason is because her worth is off. She's like out of balance. And so then the love suffers as a result in a lot of cases. And so it's almost like this bucket with sand in it and then water. And so what I do in my work is I take the sand out of the bucket. And then as I'm doing that, we're pouring more clean, fresh, flowing water through you. And so by the time the work is done, you're like a pure watery vessel of just like pure clean energy. And this is how I believe everybody should relate. Like, I wouldn't bring, in our marriage, Sean, I wouldn't bring like my heavy emotions to the marriage. I would go deal with those like with my guide or my sister circle or my, I teach it, so I'll just go there. And then show up really clean to the relationship like I would if I were at work. And it doesn't mean that I won't need help every once in a while. And of course, conflict's going to happen on occasion, but you can you can relate at that level of consciousness and connection. It is very, very possible. And I'm talking deep love and deep understanding of each other. Oof, it's so beautiful. And that's available for all of us.
It is. Yeah. I just love how you put all of this. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Oh God.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You'll find too, like, most men will meet women in that truth. Like, if I said to you, like, Sean, I want us to stare in each other's eyes for 45 minutes and you rub the right side of my cheek. Men love that. It's women that have a hard time saying those types of things without feeling really uncomfortable. And it's a lot of healing and a lot of depth can happen there. Like there's no such thing as like the emotionally available man. You don't need that. Just keep dealing with your own emotions and let the man be a man, and then come with some really beautiful, potent, vulnerable truths after you dealt with the emotion. Like a lot of women confuse vulnerability with like emotional bleeding all over their partner. And I just think that if you really want to be a high valued relator as a man or a woman, that's how you want to show up, like you would at anything else.
Absolutely. Yes. Go all the way the fuck off.
Yes.
If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, can you do me a really quick favor? Can you please rate and review this podcast? Like hit that 5-star review, because, and I do read all the reviews because this helps me know how this podcast is helping others and how, this podcast is serving you, because my job as a host is to serve you this podcast the way that you would prefer it to be. So even like even like in my own I guess life, like, so as an individual who's gone through, like trauma and stuff like that, especially by someone as a narcissist, like my stepdad, he was very abusive. So like physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive. Like growing up, he and I would fight, like throw hands all the time. Like I'm the oldest of 5, so I had a lot of like, I guess, weight that I carried. But yeah, so even just like that, how do we learn to like kind of forgive and forget the things that were done to us by a narcissist?
Yeah. Oh, it is so horrible. Like, I think again, it really comes down to that little boy inside of you, and like making sure that he knows that he's loved, because the only thing that we can do, I have this amazing activation. I don't know if I can share it with your audience, where it's in my book. And basically you go back to those moments and you love that version, and then you pour the whole thing with love, and then you burn a letter to like the stepfather, whoever hurt you in that time. But the reality is there's different perspectives of the way that you can look at life. So are you spiritual? Like, do you like believe in God or divine or anything like that? Or like,
yeah,
anything?
So I was like non-denominational, and then I went to like, kind of like spiritual. So I'd say I'm more so spiritual these days. Yeah.
Yeah, because you get older, right? And you realize, like, wait a minute, there's got to be something going on around here.
Exactly.
like,
I do believe in like there's something out there. Yeah.
There's something. Yeah. And maybe potentially for me, it's like energy, masculine and feminine energy. Like I know there's like a God of some sort because I saw it in my calling, but it's not like anything that's, perhaps there's truth in religion. There's a lot of truth in everything. I think that you got to kind of pick the fruits.
Yeah.
Anyway, so on that note, like what you can do, it's such an interesting tool. In order to make peace with your life choice and how you came to Earth, you have different levels of perspective. Some people won't get what I'm about to say. They're going to be like, fuck you, Asha, that's not good enough. Other people are going to go, oh my God, that's really helpful. I actually find what I'm about to say is extremely helpful for men. Ooh, I have a bug in my room. Oh, it's a ladybug. That is so cute. It must have flown in. I know. Sorry about
That's
that.
the universe sending a sign on a
Yes, there it is. And anyway, so I find men actually can really resonate with this because it's a contract. So contracts are clean and they're quite businessy. So when I work with a lot of high achieving men, I'm like, oh, it's a soul contract. And they're like, well, what is that? And I'm like, well, instead of being mad at your ex-wife that took you for multiple millions of dollars and this person and the mother and your mother, because like men can hold on to pain against their mother or their father forever. Like, and it can be anger and fucking rage, because how could he treat his children like that? You cannot even wrap your head around the way that parents behaved in those. They had no tools. They had no tools to deal with their emotions. Like, we're picking up the pieces right now. And like, we're the ones that are like, okay, well, there's got to be a better way. So the first thing is you have to show empathy for the fact that that he most likely had abuse in his life and abuse in the life before and the life before that. Like, you don't show up and treat kids like that unless you yourself are fucking wounded. Like, you've got to have a real wounded heart in order to treat children the way that he did with you and your brothers and sisters. And then the other thing that you can do, and this is the piece where it can be controversial for some people, it's called soul contracts. And so you almost want to visualize yourself like up in the sky with like an adult version of you and like your first wife and like your stepfather and your mother and then your brothers and sisters, and you guys like all sitting around and you're like, okay, so I'm going to abuse you and then I'm going to ditch you and then I'm going to do this and then you're going to do this to me and then I'm going to act like this to you and then I'm going to try to chase you for your love for all the shit you put me through as your son, and then I'm going to do this, and we're just going to emanate all these things, and we're going to drop down to earth and we're going to play this out like a game. And then when you start treating it like a game, again, this is like a little controversial, but this is how I teach. You start to become so less emotionally attached. It's like the Sean show, where it's like, these bitches and these hoes are just working for me. Like, they're creating a life for me. Yeah, sure. Is it borderline narcissistic? Of course. But if you do it with your heart wide open, it's just self-love. Because you start to look at people as more of like characters in your film. And though it may not work for everybody, it can be a really beneficial tool to help heal the pain that's associated, because you can't change it. You can't change it. So you either have to deal with it in some way or you become bitter about it. And so that's one way that you can do it. And then, of course, deep hypnotherapy, deep energetics, they literally take the emotional charge away. So the memory still exists, but there's no emotional charge. Like, when I was a little girl, someone really badly abused me. I was lifted up by all of my hair and held like in the air like this. And I was screaming. I was only about, it was crazy. And I buried that emotion. I buried that memory. And when it came up, I cried it out and I like screamed it out and really hit that memory in the jugular. And now that person's a part of my life. And I just look at them as someone who's really, really, really wounded. Like, it took a lot of forgiveness, but I do it. And I say, okay, well, part of the contract I had with that person, I had to experience that so that I could heal it. And then I can help more people not have to go through that. So like, you got to heal it and serve.
Yeah.
So that another little boy doesn't go through that with his dad.
Exactly. Love that. Yeah. Heal and serve. Yes.
Heal and serve, right? Which you're doing, right? You're doing that so much with all these podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want, I guess for me, I've always just wanted to just help other people and just let others know that, hey, we all go through stuff, but let's try to live the best lives and be the best version of ourselves, because we can only control ourselves at the end of the day. So that's kind of.
Is he still in your life? If you want to answer me.
Oh no, yeah, no worries. I'm very transparent. It's nothing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's not in my life anymore. So like so after, I want to say maybe about 6 years ago, I was like, okay, I cannot be around you. Like, I understand if we're at a family gathering, whatever, but, don't talk to me. Don't say anything. Like, you just stay on your side. I stay on my side. And it's just been cordial. So like, I don't have to so I don't interact with them. He doesn't call or anything like that, because I blocked his number and all that stuff. And I think maybe like after like the first couple years, he learned to just not reach out and like not, I guess, try to like salvage a relationship. It's kind of crazy because karma kind of just came back around, because we found out that he like late last year that he has pancreatic cancer, and I guess it's been growing for well over a decade. So I don't know how long he has, but I'm just like, wow, well, he lived his life just pretty much, for lack of better words, just, trigger warning for everybody, but just torturing, and like not torture, but just damaging a lot of people emotionally. So not just myself, it was just like a lot of other people around him. So it's just crazy how like the universe works. But so I guess it's a long answer for no. He's not in my life. Like I made sure to just purposely not have that anywhere near me because I just didn't want that energy in my adult life.
Yeah. And what about your mom? Is she still married to him?
Yeah, so she's still married to him, and he's put her through a lot. Growing up, I kind of came to the conclusion that she stayed with him because of the fact that she has four other kids. Because like those are all his kids. So like we're half siblings, so we all have the same mom, but all four of them, that's his kids. So. I think my mom definitely stayed around for, like the kids and everything. And like my mom never really got like, sought therapy or anything like that. She kind of just handled things internally. And I felt so bad for her. But now that the middle child just had a baby, my mom is kind of in a new era because I think she recognized or at least starting to see the actions or lack thereof actions that she, like, I guess for us growing up. I think she realized, wow, okay, well, I want to be different from my grandchildren. I want to be different for this generation. So like, yeah, let me try to, give all the love and give all the attention and I guess do right, I guess, by my grandkids at least. So I think that's kind of like what I'm picking up, like as far as energy wise. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds like so layered, I mean, and do you date now?
Yeah, I do date, but right now I'm kind of. I turned off the apps in January because I'm like, well, now that I'm moving, I can't really expect anybody to really invest. Like, I can't really invest in somebody else, and vice versa. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm hanging out with people, so I'm kind of just like I don't know, just casual or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
seriously
Yeah.
dating anybody.
Yeah, so that's what can well, even what you described, like the osmosis of potential. So when I say osmosis, it's like the energy of your mom. So like if she was in that dynamic, a couple things can happen to the son, which is you, is you may have a desire to like rescue your mother, or you can feel that your mother is not happy because it's a cellular thing. It's she can be doing whatever, but if she feels like she's in the wrong relationship or she doesn't love the man that she's with, it can actually really affect you and your brothers and sisters because we sit in that energy. This is why like even like that's why at work too, like you're at work for 40 hours a week. If you're working a 9 to 5 job, you're right with your boss 40 hours a week. If your boss is filled with trauma, then you're in that energy. And so same with sons and mothers. So what can happen in your relationships is you can replicate that same energy, which may explain a little bit as to why that first wife cheated, is because she was that energy that you were attracted to in that woman, whether it's good or bad or villainous or there was someone that did something wrong, it like none of those things really matter because you're just replicating what you knew in your mom. And so we can attract that same thing, and then when the heartbreak comes or the feeling of like she doesn't love me, it really actually can be the relationship that your mother had with that man, that your father, your stepfather. And so you like are used to that energy, so you repeat that energy, and so it actually softens any hatred you may have toward your first wife. Maybe all that's all gone, who knows, but like if any of like that animosity or bitterness, because you're like, oh wait a minute, like I can see that a little bit more, and she was just again like sort of like a contractor character, and you want to see that right now so that you can say, okay, let me heal that mother wound I might have of like feeling bad for my mom. Because this is again, I can say things that are really truthful, but like your mother on some level, her soul is choosing that. Like I have a woman in my life and she's with a man and all he does is yell at her all the time. And there was a period where I like wanted to rescue that. And now it's not my life. It's that woman is choosing that. They're in that trauma bond together. They're each playing a dynamic and a role. Doesn't mean that you don't support them, but it's not my job to rescue them. And so when you can make peace with that, Sean, like as you grow, as you evolve, as you call in these beautiful women into your life, it's not your job to rescue a woman, especially a woman from her emotions. if a woman has emotional reaction, you don't even have to rescue her even a little bit. Like you can just be like, oh, and she's going to have to deal with that. The second you start rescuing is the second you're going to attract a woman that's going to take advantage of you over time. And
Right.
we don't want that for you because you're a solid, good man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I always say to my son, don't ever let a woman manipulate you with her emotions. She'll try, trust me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. There's a lot there with that too, because there's a lot with like the divorce rate with women and like women are very much a lot of the time the victim in relationships. And I know that because I've been that woman, men too, but women more so because we have so many emotions. We are so 80% emotions. So there's a lot there. So you just be mindful of your desire to rescue.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
For sure. For sure. No,
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you're going to find the most beautiful woman in Los Angeles. You think that? Do you ever feel that?
I hope so. I hope so. I'm gonna manifest it into the universe. Actually, one of my good friends she recently started saying we'll manifest like woman fest, we'll manifest. So we'll manifest this into the universe.
Oh my God, I love that. We'll manifest. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, what you have to do is you have to order her from the energetic buffet.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Yes.
You got to be real specific and then just say, you follow your purpose and she'll come. You just got to follow, and you're doing that anyway, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just, being the best version of myself. And yeah, at the end of the day, I just love being great at communicating, knowing what's on, knowing that, hey, this is how I'm feeling, let me know how you feel. Cause I love talking about feelings. I love talking about, being vulnerable, being open. Like I love that. So, because I didn't have that growing up, I didn't have a voice. Like we couldn't talk about feelings or emotions. So I made damn sure that, when I'm an adult, when I leave home, cause I left home at 17, I was like, when I left, like as soon as I leave, I'm going to learn to love my damn self. But yeah. So, how can,
my gosh.
How can we all, I guess, deal and get over a heartbreak? Like that's the big thing that I think a lot of people have so much trouble with.
So much trouble. Yep. And it doesn't matter if you're the king of England or if you are living down in the gas station, like dumpster area, you cannot escape heartbreak. That's why I always say, just go for it. Cause you're going to deal with the emotions, whether you're broke as fuck or whether you're really, really high up, it's the same emotion. So how do you deal with heartbreak? This is such a layered question, but really, obviously it's going to go back for me to emotional intelligence and energy work and the understanding of self-worth, emotional intelligence and frequency. But the truth is that, again, people aren't going to like this, but when you have to make peace with every single masculine if you are a feminine, and you have to make peace with every single feminine if you're a masculine. Again, this doesn't have to do with sexual preference. This is the men in my life. So here's a good example. So my father, he's really highly emotionally intelligent. Did he take it as far as me? No, he's a little shadowy. It's great. It's cute, but he's got like his major triggers and stuff. And I took everything that I learned from him and I drove it into the light. And then I had my first husband, and then I attracted another man, and then another man. And then the most recent guy, I'm taking everything that I saw inside of those men and I'm creating it. What happens is many women shut out one of those aspects, and they shut out one of those men because, like, let's say they had their heart broken when they were 18 or 12 and they shut that out, and then they keep going out of alignment. So to heal heartbreak, you have to go back all the way to the mother and the father. And then if you're a man and you do that with your mother, like we just did like a tiny little bit of mother healing.
Yeah.
That's going to help you, Sean, because now you'll have like a fresher perspective. If you're listening and you're listening to what I'm saying and you're taking it inside your heart, you can actually get affected by that and then start to attract a better woman for yourself, because you have to heal all of that pain. You have to see, what did they bring me? Like, what were the fruits? Why was I attracted to that in the first place? And then make peace with it. You really want to make peace with that. If you don't, as a woman, you will become masculinized. You will become hardened, and you will be lost, no sex, no fun, no vibrance. And if you are a man and you do that, you will become bitter and you won't access nearly as much power as you have. The more the masculine loves the feminine, the more power he has, more creational power. The more the feminine loves the masculine, the more love she'll have. And then when
Yeah.
they meet in togetherness, it's called a divine union. And that's what I'm here for, divine union. Beautiful divine union of like the perfect man for me, like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Except
Wow.
not not a shadowy fairy tale. So what I always say, this is a really good piece right here. So I always say like we stack trauma generation on generation. So what I'm describing is instead of stacking trauma and bitterness and anger, I'm asking you to stack love on top of each other
Yeah.
with all of the, like it's like a Rolodex and you're just going back and you're just loving every version of like the man and the women that you can do this with your eyes closed in your bed with some soft music and you're just sending love to all of them. People are like, oh my God, this lady's a fucking Fruit Loop. But I'm telling you, it works. And then you actually start to make more money and you start to attract way better people in your life. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's real. It's magic. Manifesting is magic. So
Yeah.
the true manifestation happens when you love the villain, when you love the villain inside of everybody. And it's so weird. I've always been like this. Like when a man projects onto me, because it happens sometimes, it's so funny to me. I'm like, sometimes I get like a little bit like, what? And like I'll have a cry, but overall, I just think it's adorable. I try to visualize like they're scary monsters as like these big, fuzzy blue monsters. And then I sit down with them and have like a milkshake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
I
like,
like
it's
that.
okay. Why are you afraid? Why are you afraid? And they're like,
Exactly.
oh, and then they're just scared. They're just little boys. Like even your stepfather. Like I know you guys went through so much, but he was just like a scared little boy that was in fight, flight, or freeze. And so when you start to kind of have a little bit of a relationship like that with people's chaos, you can. It doesn't mean they get away with shit, but I'm saying like it kind of makes it a little bit easier to heal for yourself. The heartbreak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Uh, yeah, this is just really good stuff. And I guess, even like lastly here, like, before we like kind of move to the next segment, but can you kind of tell us like what do you think are keys to a successful relationship?
To the okay, so the spiritual journey is only your commitment to your truth at any level. So a relationship has to be stemmed in truth. I put a question up on my Facebook the other day and I said, how many couples do you believe are being so authentic in their sexual desires that they're literally like able to stare at their partner and say exactly what they want, like some weird shit, like I'm into some weird shit, right? I'm into like some role playing and some bizarro stuff. And like, how comfortable would I feel like telling that to a man? The answer is very comfortable, but most people are not. They can't do it. So they end up beginning to have a shadow. And so to have a healthy relationship, you have to be able to speak the truth. What happens is I'll hold my truth in and I won't tell you, Sean, in our relationship. And now this third energy is building between me and you. And now all of a sudden I'm mad at you for even like eating the Doritos the wrong way. And now you're like, what's up? Like, I can't even just sit here and eat Doritos. You're always such a bitch. And now next thing you know, we're spiraling out of control because it started because I can't tell you that I like to take it in the butt on Thursday nights. It's like something nutty, right? And so then next thing you know, is like now I've got the guy at the office and I'm turned on by him and I'm watching porno like a little freak in the car because the butt sex thing. And it all could have just been solved if I was able to tell you that truth. And if you said, Asha, I'm not into butt sex, I'd be like, okay. And then we just move on. Or you're like, all right, let's go, And so what happens is we say nothing. And then what happens with that is it perpetuates. And then we have somebody to blame. And even though it was us that never told the truth to begin with. So why don't people tell truth? Is because they're afraid that you're going to abandon them if they're too authentic or they're too real. And then you're going to be like, oh, now I'm too truthful and she doesn't want that either. And so for me, when it comes to a potent relationship, You have to be able to sit in a truth of your own truth and watch a person walk away in that truth. So with my first husband, the reason we broke up is because one of the reasons we broke up is because I was doing such deep work. And I said to him, I said, look, I think I want to get into like dakini work, like sexual work with men. I go, I don't want to have sex with other men, but I want to do like sexual. I didn't know what it was. I was like, fuck, I had no idea what I was like. I was just going through this craziness. And I said, I think I want to do like sexual energy work. And he was like, no, I don't like that. And so then I was like, oh God, what's wrong with me? Like, oh my God, I shouldn't want that. I shouldn't want that. And then I said it again. And I was like, how, wait a minute. And then I said it again. And I said, I think I want to work with men in like a sexual energy capacity. And then he said, that's not aligned with me. And I was like, okay. And we realized that we had different values. I still haven't done that. I've tried twice. It was a horrible disaster. But I'm on my way to getting there. I don't know what that looks like, but it's definitely something that I see for myself. And I knew that about me, and I started to feel really confident in that. And I was okay with saying that. And like, I'm still very okay with saying things like that. If people judge me in that, that's not my problem. They're just not my people.
Right.
So for the most solid relationship, you have to be able to say your truth. And the other way, I really truly believe, if it's a heterosexual relationship, even if it's a gay relationship, like if you want heightened polarity, if you want a screamingly hot sexual relationship, keep the emotional brouhaha out of the house, deal with it get a guide, get an advisor, get someone to talk to, and come back clean, and allow the natural polarity of masculine and feminine to unfold. That's a beautiful relationship. That's me, though, in my perspective. I like polarity a lot. I don't like to think.
Yeah. No.
If there's a man around, why would I want to think? If there's a man around, I'm just going to be up in Balloonville.
Yes.
Yeah, fun. Yeah.
No, I really appreciate all the insight. No, for sure. I think, just communication and just expressing what it is that you want and just not being afraid of whatever the other person's response is going to be. Because at the end of the day, if you love that person, they love you, they won't judge you. They'll be like, okay, it's either for me or it's not. And we'll just, like move through it. Yeah, for sure.
And like, I think what happens is like, people think it has to be like solved immediately, or like, oh my God, if I say this, he's going to leave me. And when a woman can say no to a man, like, and doesn't care if he walks out of the door, that's like really powerful. And vice versa. If a man can say no to a woman and doesn't care if she leaves, and acts like a psychopath, that's really, really powerful. Because if that woman sees something in that man, she'll heal and she'll figure it out, and vice versa. And so I've been in that dynamic with the last guy that I tried to manipulate, and he was just so like, he couldn't be budged. And I was like, oh my God, that's hot. Like, a woman thinks she thinks with her mind that she wants a man that she can control, but a woman will feel much safer, much better when she's with a man that's taking the lead. And that's just my personal lived experience, and it's making me hotter and richer. So I'm sticking with this one.
Love it.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. And a much better mother.
All right. Awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Situaseans podcast is an open platform covering dating, relationships, mental and emotional life experiences. If you are looking to advertise your brand or product, or would like to sponsor the show, send an email to situaseanspod@gmail.com. That's situaseanspod@gmail.com.
All right, so we got a listener submission here, and kind of like as we were saying throughout the earlier in the episode about how there are some men out here that will express their insecurities as boundaries. And we have a listener submitted screenshot via the Jonah Hill incident that we all kind of know about. So for context, Jonah Hill, we all know him for 21 Jump Street, Pineapple Express, and so many other films. But he has sent a text to his girlfriend, kind of just with some insecurities that went viral on social media because his ex-girlfriend at the time, shared the screenshot on Instagram or whatever, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Like these toxic ass men. So, Asha, are you ready to unpack this this segment with me?
Yes, of course. I have my own views on this, of course.
Yes, awesome. So let's go ahead and jump into that listener submission. All right, so this, what is it? So let's see. So the listener submission says, men who either intentionally or unintentionally state their boundaries when they are, I guess for context, I'm just letting everybody know this is what the listener is saying before we introduce the screenshot. But anyway, so the listener says, men who either intentionally or unintentionally state their boundaries when they are really stating their insecurities as a means for control and manipulation. Goodness, I cannot talk today. Yeah. So this screenshot is not my personal experience, but I've definitely known several controlling men. Actor Jonah Hill from Superbad, 21 Jump Street used to control his girlfriend, Sarah Brady, by sending her manipulative texts such as the example shown. And we'll throw the screenshot on the screen in a second. But so the listener says, apparently Jonah knew that Sarah is a professional surfer before they started dating and still didn't want her posting pictures in a one-piece swimsuit. He also wanted to pick and choose who were appropriate friends, quote unquote, and didn't want her to be friends with certain people. Overall, when partners or dates use the term, quote unquote, boundaries instead of ultimatums is a big ick. Now that I agree with. We got to kind of differentiate what an ick is, what the boundary is, and what insecurity is. And I think today in today's media and today's social media, we kind of blur the lines.
For sure.
So the screenshot here says, and for those of you that are watching on YouTube or watching on Spotify, because now you can watch the video on Spotify, Jonah texted Sarah and said, plain and simple, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, if you need to model, or if you need to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, or to post sexual pictures or friendships with women who are in unstable places and from wild recent past beyond, giving a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for a romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt or trust. Wow. Now that is a lot to unpack. I just just unpacked a whole mouthful there. So Asha, what are your thoughts on this entire debauchery? This fuckery from Jonah?
This is a really good question. It's interesting because I was immediately like, oh, you don't really air out your relationship dirty laundry, but I have realized that I have written a book and it's about my old relationships, except that my relationships, I take radical responsibility for the relationship. I would never leak text messages between me and another man. I'm trying to think if I've ever done anything like that. I've never done anything like that. I perhaps I did in my first marriage when there was a lot of trauma that I was dealing with. Because I think that what happens with a lot of people when they're in trauma bonds is they want everybody else to comfort their pain. And so, I remember when that came out too, he had just had a wife. He just had a baby with his wife or something. It was really bizarre timing. And I think we just talked about this where I said, I wouldn't bring your emotional brouhaha to a relationship. And if a man is sending those things to you, for me, it's just really disrespectful to put all of that air out. It's yes and no, because at the same time, I'm also really truthful about the men that come into my life and how they emanate emotions in me. But again, it's because I take radical responsibility. So I'm trying to make peace with that paradox right there. As far as that goes, for me, I think that Jonah Hill was on the right track. Sure. Was there maybe some shadowy shit in there? Perhaps. But at the end of the day, it's kind of also what I just talked about, which is a commitment to your truth. Like, if she needs to feel hurt by that, that's not his problem. He's stating what he wants in the contract, and she doesn't have to agree to the terms of the contract. Like, somewhere along the line, marriage and relationship became like this big fiasco where we used to actually just get married based off of contracts. Like, do we have the shared values? Is your mother and father from the same kingdom from my mother and father? And can we escalate each other upward on the chain? And somehow we've westernized that and turned it into all of this chaos, when really it was him just being very clear with what he wanted in the contract. Now, if they had other contractual agreements when they first started and he was like totally cool with it, yeah, perhaps there was some shadowy stuff in there. And at the same time, at any given time, all of us are able to end contracts. We are.
Yeah.
You're able to say the terms of the contract have changed. Okay, well, I don't agree. You may have to repeat and revisit the terms of the contract over and over again. In fact, I encourage that you should be doing that as a married couple or as a couple, because if let's say I'm not into threesomes, and then 5 years from now, I meet like this really hot woman and I'm like, oh, I really am into threesomes now. I have to choose. Do I tell my husband that I'm into threesomes, or do I hide that desire? Well, I'm going to be like, I'm into threesomes. And my husband's like, I hate threesomes. I hate lesbians. It's never going to happen.
Exactly.
But let's just pretend we're in some alternate universe.
Exactly.
And he's like, I hate hot lesbians. No. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to honor that because I love lesbians and I want that for myself, which, just FYI, I would probably be a little bit open for. And so, just putting it out there for all the men listening and women. And so if that contract term change, I either have to honor myself and do that thing and say what the terms have changed to, or I hide it and I get bitter and I get angry and I get even more controlling. So I think that Jonah Hill, maybe he had a little shadowy thing that happened, but at the same time, he was just honoring his truth. And I don't like that she went and splashed that all over the internet behind his back. I think that's really tacky.
Yeah. I think I do agree with like airing out the dirty laundry. Yeah, she could have just kept that under wraps and kind of just, dealt with that internally between like the both of them. Or even, like talked with her girlfriends or a therapist or something like that. But
can I say something else though? Because then part of me is also like, well, that's what she felt like she needed to do. That's the other side of that coin.
Exactly.
Like, how can I say that he's okay with his truth and then she can't be okay with hers? And in fact, I don't think Jonah Hill had much of a reaction at all. I think he, like, if he did, he's certainly kept it under wraps. He didn't feed into her shit.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't see anything wrong with anything that she's doing in her individual life in that in the screenshot. Because he mentioned that, okay, if she wants to go surfing with men or whatever, she's a surfer, so of course she's going to surf with people of different genders and identities. Now different story if it's like, she's surfing with, I don't know, like let's say she has interest in this guy and she's spending all of her time with just that guy or whatever, more time than she's spending with Jonah Hill. Okay, now I get it. But if it's just or even just wanting to post sexy pictures or whatever, she's a model, she's an influencer. This is her life, literally. So I definitely didn't see anything wrong with her avenues and her event and her, I guess, hobbies and ventures. There's nothing wrong with that. I think, Jonah just wanted somebody who was I guess all the way for him. And maybe this is just a celebrity man thing or whatever, where it's because I'm that guy, because I'm a celebrity, all the women want me or whatever. So it's it's easier. I can't even imagine what it's like to even be a celebrity, but I'm gonna try to just make a guesstimate to my best knowledge as to what I see on social media. Maybe because I guess a lot of straight heterosexual men that are celebrities in power, maybe they're just well, I can get whatever I want because I'm so and so. So maybe that's kind of just it. He's just used to getting whatever he wants or whatever, I guess, and most women because he's fucking Jonah Hill. So
he's power. There's a power piece there.
Yeah. So
it's like we sort of talked about that. Like you got to come into like right relationship with that power. Now look, like some women are into that. I'm very submissive. I like being like dressed up and like told what to wear. It's very musy and adorable for me. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then obviously there's an element of trust that has to come with that, but like I've said many times, I don't like the idea of thinking.
Right.
So it could be what could look like toxicity to one person could very much be a kink for another.
Right.
So that's their own relationship dynamic. You have no idea if on the back end of those texts she was like, "Yes, daddy," and like they had some strange kink going on. You have no idea. She just showed us what he was doing. And so, but if she doesn't like it and she feels controlled, then she needs to step out of that dynamic because something brought her into that dynamic in the first place. Like, again, people don't like this truth because they want to favor the victim or like make him look bad. But yeah, sure. Is he maybe dealing with some shadowy shit? So is she, because she would have had some codependency to work out if she's looking for that type of power. And so, there's some real juice in that right there. Like, I attracted this guy and he was like a billionaire and he wanted to like, really like, he wanted like some serious submission stuff. And I was like, okay, $5 million. That's what he said. I said, I'll send you some photos for $5 million. And then he wouldn't pay me. I was like, just pay me 1.5 million and then we can get started and I'll send you some photos. It was like all, virtual, and he wouldn't do it. And so I was like, all right, well, you're not the sugar daddy because I need money. I can't be like just sending you these photos. It's like, it's called energetic muse, sexual energy. See, I told you I was like kind of into the sexual energy thing and I'm celibate. It's very confusing. But the point is that I'm kind of like, okay, maybe I want to do that. Yeah. And then I couldn't get it together. He wouldn't pay me the money. He couldn't do it. Because actually the truth is if he paid me money, he'd have to heal. Anyway, so the point is like, he wasn't the right guy and it didn't work out. And I was like, all right, well, I guess that didn't work out, but I'm down if like you want to pay me some money for it. And we won't be able to have sex because I don't have sex with people. And he was like, what is this? Why don't you have sex? And I'm like, it's just not part of the contract. And we couldn't agree to a contract term. Totally cool. Bye. And like, I don't know. So many layers. There's so many layers. Like life is hilarious when you start to get a better perspective because you got to have a good relationship with your own power. Like a woman like me, in order to have a real high level of sexual power, you have to still be able to say no and watch that thing walk out of your life without having a big emotional breakdown about it. And trust me, I've had plenty of those, plenty of emotional breakdowns. So
yeah.
A lot of layers there. Good question.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, what do you think? Are you like, because what if you are going to be a celebrity soon, Sean?
Oh my goodness. Like, I wish, I hope I will manifest it, but yes.
We're manifesting it. We're manifesting it.
Exactly. I definitely think that, like, she could have handled it better by not airing it out, but I do see exactly where she's coming from, where it's just frustrating having to submit to Jonah's, I guess, demands. But at the same time, I understand Jonah. He has a type, apparently. We all just found out what his type is. So I just hope that Jonah just only goes for women's that like women that are in that type, because, I think because he's Jonah Hill, it's easier for him to come up to a woman and be like, hey, this is what I want in a partner. This is what I want in a relationship dynamic. Are you able to, go with that? All right. And if she's like, yeah, cool. All right, cool. I guess he found his match. If not, all right, well, Jonah, go to the next person. I guess that is okay with that. But yeah. So I definitely do see, where this definitely got so hairy, but I guess they've ultimately found out that they're not for each other. So
yeah. And like I said to you before, like, I think that women have a really hard time with men's truths unless the woman is able to stand as equally in her power. And that is something that a lot of people have a really hard time with. Like, sure, potentially he had a little bit of control, but if we're looking at it, like, she wasn't in danger he's not a dangerous person. It can feel dangerous. It can emanate the emotion that she's in danger. That's what happened with me in The Billionaire. I was like, oh my God, he's after me. He's trying to like come after me. But like, he was like literally in a different country. And this was like an energetic exchange, like energy work. And I felt all these scary emotions where it was like, it felt like he was going to like come after me. And we have these feelings. It's PTSD. So for her, she may have been dealing with that PTSD where Jonah was like providing an experience for her to deal with that so that she doesn't attract that again, if that's not what she wants. I will say I do find most women do want to submit to a masculine man. They like, I meet women, they're so disconnected from that. Like I met this woman at the nail salon the other day and she was like, you don't want to take care of a man. Men are a pain in the ass. And I looked her right in the eye and I said, oh, I do want to take care of a man. And I'm going to take very good care of a man. And I cannot wait. And he's going to be leading me and it's going to be the most beautiful thing. And she goes, I want that.
Yes.
She goes, how do I get that? And I was like, and I see it all the time. And so like these women want it, but they can't figure out how to get it. And they have like, they're afraid of it. They're like, nah! And they like, so maybe Jonah was a little shadowy and like couldn't like, it was all a little bit shadowy for him. But like in a way, if they both had a healthy relationship with that, it could be quite fun.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely, because it is fun it's fun when both dynamics lead. Like sometimes like the man leads or like the woman leads. Like because like that shit is sexy when there's like two people both leading or whatever. Like it switches off. So yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, you got to play all the speeds in life. It's fun.
Yeah,
but there's like women that are like, no, you don't want a man, and like. Men are this or men are, you got to make sure you're afraid of men or make sure you take care of yourself. And the reality is I don't live like that. I'd rather just not live like that. And then you find like most women are like, how do I get that? And I'm like, you got to start at the very beginning. Cause like, I bet you anything, that woman, that Jonah Hill woman, I bet you she's not in a happy relationship right now. Whatever she's with now, she's like, this isn't right either. Bring back Jonah. Bring back Jonah and his whip.
Right. And then we find out like what if like, Jonah sends a screenshot, like he publishes a screenshot of her coming back to him. Hey, Jonah, can I take you back? Will you take me back? It's like, oh, damn.
Jonah, get the leash.
Right. Oh,
no,
man.
She was like, because she was probably just bitter that she wasn't chosen. Women are nuts. We love it. They're like, how do we get him back? And so she does this grand fiasco where she probably just wants him to come back. Just calling it like I see it.
I love how blunt you are. I like this different dynamic that you're coming to the table with. I really.
Oh yeah, I can be savage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking about Beyonce, and I'm a massive fan of Beyonce and Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z is the ultimate creator. He has come up from like, I don't know where he's from. Where is he from? Is he from New York?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I forget where, but I think like the Bronx or Brooklyn, something like that. But he is from New
Brooklyn,
York. Yeah.
He's worth like $3 billion. And Jay-Z and Beyonce was like really devoted to God before Jay-Z came into her life. And so I put these posts up, like I'm really into celebrities because I want to be a celebrity energy healer.
Yes, and, you will be too. Let's manifest this. We'll manifest
this. Yes. I like that. And so basically I was like, put this post up and I was like, these guys are amazing. And like, you got to stop looking at celebrities and thinking that they're all sitting around eating babies. Like they're not doing that. Like a lot of them are just really high level creators, and that creational power scares most people. They can't even like, I'm pretty sure like Cher and like, Dolly Parton, I don't know any, like, I think it's just really easy to label celebrities because like we're afraid of money. We're afraid of that much level and that much wealth. Yeah, sure. Is there fucked up stuff happening in Hollywood? Of course there is, but it's no different than what's going on in your house. Like it's just much bigger because of the level of power and money.
Yeah.
And I put this post up and this chick was like, those two are awful. They're satanic, baby eating. And I was just like, because I attract a lot of spiritual people. And I was like, hey, listen, you're just afraid of your power. And she just ended up getting really upset with me and like projected. I mean, obviously I don't care. I was just like, oh yeah, but that's what it is. And like, perhaps you're not ready to listen to that right now. Because if you don't have a right relationship with power, you're going to push power away, or you're going to attract the wrong type of power. And so it's a really cool, that's like one of the coolest things I'm working on right now is like exploring more of the power wound. Cause like even you, Sean, like as you get closer to like your dreams and like your acting career, and let's say you really go for it and you start getting recognized, you're going to actually start having these things come up where you're going to be like, am I a good person? Like, can I do this? Like, am I worthy of this shit? And all of this trauma that comes up that's like, no, Sean, stay small. And you're meanwhile like trying to hack through it, reprogram your neural pathways to create ease and flow and alignment. That shit is not easy. And the more you do it, the more you're going to go, oh, respect for the people that have created this, because this is all emotions. It's 80 to 90% emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Right?
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. You have like a respect for it if you're going for it. Like going for your dreams is, not everybody does it for a reason.
Yeah.
But we're going to go in Cali. We're going to be there together roller skating.
Exactly. Yep. Roller skating, karaoke, all that good shit.
I love it.
Awesome. All right. So we do have to, actually, how many? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I got battery left on this camera over here to the side. Okay, so now we're going to do the hinge or unhinge segment. This is the last segment of the show. So you ready to do this hinge or unhinge?
I'm so ready. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. All right, so we got some hinge or unhinged screenshots from dating app profiles that you listeners have seen on people's dating app profiles that y'all screenshot and submitted to the show. Thank y'all for doing that. If you want to get in and involved in this, remember y'all, you can submit your story or your dating app screenshot to situationspodcast.com/submit. So submit all your stuff there, your unhinged prompts, anything that you want me and a guest to unpack, we will unpack. All right. So this first one says, my biggest date fail, probably you. Is this hinge as in green flag or unhinged as in red flag deal breaker? So you see this on somebody's dating app profile and they say that you are their biggest date fail.
That is hilarious. I say it's a green flag. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because it's a funny guy. And it's also like challenge accepted.
Right. Yeah, I guess.
Like this is his profile, right? And I'm deciding if I want to go on a date with him. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm 100% in. Let's go. I'm gonna make you sweat. I'm competitive, so.
All right. It's challenge accepted. Okay. All right.
He's going to really laugh when I give him herpes. Joke's on him.
Oh,
he didn't know how right he was. He's manifesting.
Oh my Lanta.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And then he'll be the biggest date fail with everybody.
Exactly. Right. Just passing it along.
Right.
It's not herpes if everybody has it.
Right.
That's the thing.
And for everybody, like, let's not get sensitive. We're not promoting spreading any STDs or STIs. Like, this is just all in good fun. But
no, guys, I'm celibate. If you're just joining, I'm celibate, and I was married for a long time. I don't have herpes.
Right. Yeah.
Yet.
We always got to clarify.
Name on that dating app?
I know, right? Exactly. Okay, so this other screenshot that we got says, I get along best with people who mostly hate other people, but think their friends are the greatest, but also like to go out and be social and then slightly hate it once you get there. So
red flag. Right? I stopped listening like 3 seconds into whatever the fuck that was. Get it out of there.
The fuck hinge. I agree. That one is that's
too much. You know that person right there has like 6 cats and and the type of person that sits in Starbucks and is like, oh, Kathy is so triggering. Kathy is so triggering, even though they're simultaneously talking about poor Kathy behind her back.
Right.
Next. Yeah.
I agree. That is like that. That is.
It was
unhinged.
too much.
Yeah.
It was like that fake spiritual like wannabe.
Right.
Bye.
Yes. Get it out of here.
Get the herpes guy back.
Oh goodness. Someone's gonna like angrily DM the show. Don't come for me, guys. Don't come for me. Don't come for us. Like this is like we're just all in good fun. We love you all. You know.
Oh, I'm dying. Oh, that's too good.
This last one says, I recently discovered that I enjoy volatile love bombing because bad decisions make the best memories. Flame emoji. This person sounds fun. It's a flame emoji. It's like a flame.
I'm going green flag.
Normally I would swipe left or say no, but yeah, this person sounds fun as hell. Like I
totally fun. Yeah, like this is so fun. Like because I feel like people are just dealing with the fact that dating sucks.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do it. That's why I'm a believer of magnetism.
Yes. Yeah.
And then like occasionally touching your toes into the water, but like you don't have to do all that brouhaha. You want to get on the same frequency with what you want. And I can guarantee you that that's not going to be happening in Tinder.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're funny. Oh, that's so good. I loved that. I was laughing so hard.
Same.
Too good.
I just want to say thank you to the listeners for submitting your story and to the other listeners for submitting your unhinged prompts. Love that. Again, if you want to get involved and submit your materials, you want me to unpack a story, got a dating ick, send all that stuff. Situationspodcast.com/submit. And then for the dating ick community, if you have a specific ick, like something that really fucks with you that you just can't get past, send that ick to situationspodcast.com/ick, ICK. So I just want to say, Asha, oh my goodness, like thank you so much for coming onto the show. I know like this one's definitely a longer episode, but I appreciate the insights that you dropped. It's been so valuable hearing a different side to like the feminine perspective. So I really appreciate you sharing what you like your values and the kind of like the things that you go through and sharing the knowledge with all of us.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. I love burning in hell in order to help people. No, I'm really hoping that, I just pray every day that like, it's just going to keep going good for me and my son. And we've gone through so much and I'm just so honored to be here and help and like really like laughing and having fun. And it's what the whole point of life is. Like the whole thing is connection and having a good time and joking and not taking everything so seriously. And then simultaneously clearing all your trauma. It's like kind of a crazy. You're like, oh, clear all your crazy trauma and then have fun.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. And so I'm just all about going for your dreams and going for what it is that you came for. Like your desires don't have to be like my desires. Everybody's desires are different and go to what resonates.
Yes. And you know what? I was just about to ask if you had any final words for our listeners, but oh my goodness. Yeah, that's it right there. There it is. There it is. So can you share with our listeners how they can connect with you, how they can begin to do the work with you, and also like where they can find your book? Share all that stuff. Tell us.
Thank you so much, Sean, for offering me this platform. And thank you to all the listeners if you've made it this far. My name is Asha, Aashat, as in Thomas or titties. And it's on Facebook. I have a really cool Facebook community. I am a bag of so many different things. Like I'll be talking about leadership one sentence and then cracking jokes about like Sky Daddy in the next sentence. And it's a lot of fun. Someone said the other day, you're like following like an episode of like SpongeBob. You're just all over the place. And it's great. I got a big following there, probably about 10,000 followers on Facebook. And then I've got a smaller Instagram following, which we put reels up all the time. My reels are really educational and a lot about heartbreak and the understanding of energy. And I talk a lot about core wounds, and I talk a lot about different things like personal power and integrity. And so you can get a lot of information on my Insta, Asha_T_international. And my book is on Amazon. It's called The Empath is the Narcissist. And if you DM me on Facebook or if you DM me on Instagram, I would love to share with you a freebie. I got some really cool educational stuff and some fun, beautiful meditations. If you're into soft mermaid voices in your ears, I'm happy to share those with you. And then I've got offerings from $29 up to my signature programs, which run 5 figures. So I'm looking forward to connecting with people on their own investment levels, free to lots of money. And I can't wait to support anybody that needs help with anything. I love this work.
Wow. Love it.
Awesome.
Love it. Love it. Go all the way the fuck off. Thank you so much for doing this. And yeah, to all the listeners, you don't forget, if you want to submit a voicemail submission, like if you want to, you can call the hotline. There's 312-586-2664. We haven't had a voicemail submission yet. I know a lot of y'all, like some of y'all have said that y'all are afraid of having your voice on the show. I get it, but do it, try it. And then, you can email the podcast, situationspod@gmail.com. And if you're watching on YouTube or watching on Spotify, you will have seen all of Asha's information, everything pop up on screen. So definitely make sure to connect with Asha. And if you're on a bus, a plane, a train, hell, if you're in the 10th dimension, you could be actually, you know what? What if maybe you're Asha's like former client? You can listen to Situaseans podcast wherever you go. And actually, you can, and if you're Asha's current client, definitely listen to Situaseans podcast wherever you go. No. And with that, I will see you all back here for the next episode in a couple of weeks.